Right, so I think we're going to call the meeting to order for the Committee of the Whole for Monday, November 6th. So welcome, everyone. We'll begin by asking if there are any items to add to the agenda. Nope. Okay, so hearing none, could I ask for a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Sampson. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councillor Digdon. Any further discussion on the agenda? Okay, so sorry, I'm going to get right on hitting the button this time around. So, all right, so if there's no further discussion on the agenda, all those in favor, please say aye. 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 Those opposed? That motion is carried. Okay, the next item is the review of the minutes from October 10th, 2023, Committee of the Whole. Any items to add or remove from those minutes? If not, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I'll move the approval of the minutes.
Thank you, Councillor Sampson. Could I have a seconder?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. The motion's been made to approve the minutes of October 10th, 2023. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. 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 Those opposed? Okay, that motion is carried. So the next item on the agenda is the review of just the warden's report. So that's the list that I've put together of some of the activities undertaken over the last month since our last Committee of the Whole meeting. This is really just for information purposes, but would invite any questions or comments. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the next item. The CAO for the Administration Operations Report. So, Troy, I'm not sure if you wanted to speak to that.
Thank you, Warden. The report is there for your review, and all departments are represented if you have any questions. What we're trying to do is, seeing that this is a new report for us, is we're highlighting the changes from month to month on the report to show any updates, anything that's ongoing, and that anything that was completed between last month and this month will not appear in the next one going forward. If you've already seen it highlighted as completed, it's going to go away. All right? Unlike our to-do list, things stay on there forever so that we always have that running order, but this one we're going to try and keep it to the things that are currently a work in progress so that you guys are informed of everything we have on the go.
Thank you, Troy. Really appreciate the summary, certainly. I did want to just note that the for the September activity on the Comfort Center MOU meetings, so this is the formalization of comfort centers in specific locations throughout the county. I believe we have a little over 20 of them, is about 20-ish? Yeah. Okay, great. So those are, I guess, kind of formalizing the agreement.
They are.
Okay. That's great. That's a great step forward. And really happy to note the volunteer fire department insurance renewal discussion on that part of the report as well. So, any questions on the admin report? No comments, questions. Okay, great. Cruising right along. All right, so the next item on the agenda is an update on the former West Richmond Education Building. And again, I'm going to hand that over to you, Troy.
Thank you, Warden. It's just to let everyone know we're about 12 pages in on a RFP that we're putting together for the Walter Faugier West Richmond School for council to entertain proposals for that facility. Once we have it ready, I'd like to have it to you guys in December to look at, to release in January, so that we can start entertaining proposals through the winter. So hopefully we have a successful developer to come along and they'll be ready to go in the spring. But you guys will get a chance to see the RFP first to make sure it aligns to the initiatives of the council, and so that we can move forward with repurposing that facility.
Thank you, Troy. I did want, that's great news that we're making some moves on that building. I did want to ask, I'm looking at you, Councillor Melanie Sampson, because you had forwarded some information about a housing project in, I think it was Yarmouth area. I don't know if you wanted to kind of speak to that in the context of the old school. This
Well, just that article that I had sent to you just had a very interesting idea. Like in that case, I think the municipality actually did take over the project and convert an old school or old schools into some affordable housing. And I certainly wouldn't propose that as a municipality that we proceed in that direction, but that's certainly been a use that they're looking to do with those facilities. So I think that's very much in line with the idea that we've had for so long about what we'd like to see happen there. So I'm very encouraged by your work on the project, and thank you for that, and look forward to seeing that proposal when you're ready.
Thank you, Councillor. Any other comments or questions on the former West Richmond Education Building? Councillor Digdon.
Yeah, button's not working. Yeah, I guess the only, more of a statement, I guess, and we brought it up at our recreation committee meeting. It's one of those things that the island in general is always looking for spots for, indoor racquetball or indoor basketball or something else. So it was just a thought that, if the building was pretty much completely stripped, it might be able to be used or converted into something for indoor recreation sports. Because we're always looking, we're going through the schools and we're going through the halls and we're going through everywhere else, but it would be nice to have one multi-use facility, and the size of that facility might be a perfect spot.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Digdon. Certainly something that we can take into consideration for sure. So, any other comments on the former West Richmond building? Okay, so hearing none, I'm just going to move us along on the agenda then. So thank you, Troy. And this next item is probably one of the best parts of the agenda tonight. It's the introduction of new staff to council. So I'll hand it back over to you, Troy.
Thank you, Warden. I'm going to ask Danielle and Clayton to come up to the presenter chairs there.
I'm like putting you right in the
Perfectly safe.
Might as well get comfortable now, right? No, it gives us great pleasure, and we were quite happy when council agreed in the budget this year to allow a term position to bring Danielle in to help us with our community engagement and alignment with your strategic plan. Again, there's no sense having one of those documents if you're not going to turn it into action. And with your budget decision this year, you gave us that ability to hire this person who's going to be working under Shannon and trying to really move those strategic initiatives of the strategic plan forward and increase our engagement and interaction with the community groups within Richmond County. So that's going to be Danielle. You're going to probably see her again in December or January. Shannon and Danielle are working on how this rollout is going to look. You're probably already seeing some emails, if not you will in the near future, of what our engagement sessions are going to look like in the new year. Before I move on to Clayton, do you need to add anything to that, Shannon, or are you good with that? That's good for tonight? Awesome, thank you. And Clayton McMillan has joined us from St. Peter's. He is our technology specialist. Thank you, so I get the term right. Clayton is already looking at the where are we stage with our servers, our systems. We have taken, it was so funny, we had the budget set last April or May with you guys on capital and the software, and he never saw those documents, and it's within hundreds of dollars that he came up with a plan that fits right within there. Now, the one thing we're not going to be able to do this year is end user improvements, because there's too much that needs to be done in the server room with with security measures. So endpoint user upgrades will probably have to be pushed off to 24, 25, but we got to fix the backbone first before we do that and get the 365 transition going. So Clayton is working on the plan. Jason sat with us the other day to help us make sure we have things assigned to the right parts of the budget. And he's going to be working on purchase order soon to get that ready. So we're hitting the ground running in December.
Awesome. Thanks, Troy. Well, welcome to the two of you. We're very excited to have you on board. Probably too much so. Anyways, but I don't know if is there anything you guys wanted to say, or I don't want not to put you on the spot. Please, just fire that microphone on the floor. You'll be fine. All right. So, councillors, did you have any questions for Troy or the new staff, or anything you wanted to add?
Come aboard.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it comes to IT stuff, Clayton, and technology, if you need some help,
Do not
no.
Sean is struggling with pressing the button on his microphone even this evening. Deputy Warden.
There you go, yeah. Just want to welcome the lawyers and look forward to working with you.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we may need some courses on button pressing development here. That's okay. We'll figure that out. We'll get used to it. Welcome to the both of you, and it's great to have you on board. Okay. All right. Thanks, folks, and thank you, Troy. So the next item on the agenda are community acknowledgements, and I'm just going to pop open my summary here because we have a few to take care of this evening. And the first, as always, is our Volunteer of the Month. This month, excuse me, for the month of October, our Volunteer of the Month was Kenneth LeBlanc from River Bourgeois. Kenneth is a volunteer with a heart of gold, is the first line in the nomination form. He's kind and generous and an unassuming man with a great demeanor. He can often be seen with a permanent smile on his face. Kenneth plays a vital role in the community, providing the repairs at the Seniors Club, as well as providing regular maintenance for the visitation parlor, including mowing and maintenance of the building when the regular caretaker is away. He also gives his time to provide routine reviews of the community gym equipment, ensuring it's in a safe condition for all to use, as well as to the weekly cafe luncheon and men's breakfast. Kenneth supports the Mariners fundraisers and can often be found sharing his barbecue skills at events in the community. He's always ready to assist with any project as at a moment's notice. Kenneth is a fisher with a generous giving heart who, during fishing season, shares his catch with others. Members of Kenneth's community describe him as someone who is a behind-the-scenes type of guy who is very deserving of this recognition. He is a pillar in his community, and his community is very grateful for the countless hours he gives of his time and efforts to all events, activities, and occasions. So please join us, folks at home, and here in recognizing Kenneth for his hard work, dedication, and commitment to his community. We do thank you for all you do for Richmond County, and I can attest to the fact that Kenneth has one of the best views in River Bourgeois because I dropped off his volunteer package on the weekend, and it's a beautiful spot that he lives in. So one of the hidden gems in our community. So, all right. So, any questions on that or comments? Okay, so the next community acknowledgement that I wanted to bring to the table is that the Strait Area Chamber of Commerce is having their Fall Dinner and Awards Gala coming up on November 15th. And they have a whole suite of award recipients. I think their Excellence in Business Award winner this year is the Malibu Farmers Market, which has been in operation for quite some time. Most exciting to me, though, was to see the Rising Star New Business of the Year Award being given to the Farmers Pantry in St. Peter's. So just wanted to say congratulations to the Pantry. It's a family affair, that business, and they're just going to be turning 3 years old, I think, later this month. So it feels like they've been part of our community already forever. So a big congrats to the Pantry. And then I also wanted to see if the Deputy Warden would like to acknowledge a special member of the gallery that we have here this evening, a student who is here visiting, working on a political science project. So over to you, Deputy Warden. You press your button.
Yeah, so I'd like to, thanks for putting me on the spot, Madam Warden, but I'd like to acknowledge a young St. FX student here with us tonight, working on a political science project. hopefully he doesn't sit in the question period chair and ask too many questions of the deputy warden. But welcome, Connor Sampson, and congratulations on your stay at St. FX, and hopefully everything goes good with your political science project.
Thanks for having me, guys. Pleasure to be here.
Oh my goodness. I know, I don't think I was coming to municipal council readings on my reading breaks from St. FX, but I admire your dedication. All right. Are there any other community acknowledgements that folks wanted to bring forward this evening?
Yeah, for me, Madam Warden and all of Council and all of Richmond County, I'd like to acknowledge Danielle LeBlanc from Petitgras. The Straight Richmond Palliative Care Society just had their AGM on October 20th and presented Danielle with a heartfelt token for everything he does for that society. Danielle has Wings and Music Night at the Island Nest here on Thursday evenings, and there's a donation box at the door, more or less, and it's just by donation. So every Thursday, everybody in the community goes out to Island Nest and listens to Danielle and many musicians that join him on stage. And just recently, Danielle did present the Straight Palliative Care Society with $10,126.73. So yeah, hats off to Danielle and all the musicians that join him on Thursday evenings, and to the staff, Joelle Sampson and the staff at Island Nest that work together to put these great events on. So hats off to Danielle. He's been named one of our volunteers of the month in the past, but I mean, when I seen this number of, for donation, that's quite astounding. So hats off to him, and congratulations to everybody involved.
That's an amazing accomplishment. Thank you, Deputy Warden. I think, speaking of LeBlancs, we would be remiss in not also congratulating on behalf of Richmond County Council the Honourable Arthur LeBlanc and the Honourable Patsy LeBlanc on their honorary degrees from CBU this past weekend, which was bestowed to them at a pretty impressive event at La Picasse on Saturday. For those who were there, I think it was definitely a heartfelt ceremony, and fantastic to see such a strong CBU presence right here in our own backyard. So congratulations to them both. The Deputy Warden and I attended that ceremony. And I wanted to also mention, of course, with Remembrance Day around the corner, I guess a special shout out to our Legion communities. I know they're busy planning for Cenotaph and Remembrance Day related events. Certainly hope to see lots of folks out there, and really thank you to the volunteers who are putting that together. And most of all, thank you to the veterans who have secured our freedom. So any other comments on that, Deputy Warden?
Yeah, Madam Warden, I'll follow up on the Legion situation and all the great volunteers. When you look at the front of our building here in front of our municipal office, and Chris, thank you for working with the local Legion here. They had so much demand for these veteran banners that they had to put some extra framing up in front of our building here. But hats off to all of them. If I encourage everybody to walk the sidewalk and look at those beautiful banners, remembering and honoring the people that have served our country and are still serving our country. So, hats off to the veterans and their families, and hats off to the volunteers that have put these banners up, and just great work. And it's not only the local Legion. I think there's banners in St. Peter's, there's banners in Louisdale, there's banners everywhere around this county, and it's just a great event and great to see. So I encourage everybody that has the opportunity to walk by and take in these banners to do so. And I just congratulate and acknowledge and thank everybody for what they're doing and being involved.
Thanks, Deputy Warden. They are beautiful. They're stunning banners this year, and kind of gives you a little history lesson on, who's who in our community and who has contributed in that way. So, all right. Any other community acknowledgements? Okay, so hearing none, I'm going to move us on to the next item on the agenda. which is correspondence, and we have a couple of pieces that require some action on our part. The first is a grant application from the Calvin Presbyterian Church for the Type 1 Infrastructure Grant Funds in the amount of $2,147.81. So the CFO has provided a bit of a summary, and this is included in the grant application in the meeting package. You know, it looks like the church has obtained quotes, is what I'm trying to say, from a source to kind of back up the amounts that they're requesting. And I guess, would open for comments. I don't know, Councillor Brent Sampson, these, I think, are folks in your district, if you wanted to open with any comments regarding this one?
No, that's okay for now. You can come back around to me if you want. I'll see what everybody else.
Okay, so I think we also have a sense of where we're at with the, in terms of our grant distribution. It has been a busy year. So are folks interested in supporting the grant application, or would you have a recommendation for an adjustment? Councillor Digdon, you look like you're...
There we go. Yeah, Madam Warden, I was just going over some of our, excuse me, meetings in the past. I don't know if it falls under the same scenario, but I remember back last year, the St. Joseph's Parish was looking for a grant as well. And I just wonder, I know we had, there was concerns about not supporting a church. I just wonder if we're under the same, we supported them out of our district fund, however, we didn't want to support them through our.
Yeah, Councillor Digdon, I recall that conversation as well. I guess maybe what I would do, though, is maybe ask Troy, or through you, Troy, to Jason, there's a charity return. Like, so this organization is, like, it's a registered charity, it looks to me, so, but is it still an operating church? I'm ignorant of this, sorry, but can someone provide some clarity?
Pass through to either the councillor or the CFO.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'd be similar to the application that we had received from St. Joseph's Parish a number of I think it was last year. It's the Calvin Presbyterian Church, and it looks like if you look at their information return, there's like a Canada branch. So I think it would be similar to basically we call it like the Diocese of Antigonish. So where churches fall underneath the diocese, this would be part of a Canadian Presbyterian Church group. Different business numbers, but still a not-for-profit group that's working in the local community, I guess.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Yes, go ahead, Councillor.
Yeah, so I can understand that. In light of that, I'd be more than willing to put $1,000 from my district fund towards this project. If council wants to put any more, great, and if not, I can do that at least.
Okay, so Councillor Sampson is suggesting $1,000 from the District 5 funding. Yeah, so, and I guess the other point is that the regional funds, I believe, were down, the amount remaining is close to the $10,000 mark, I believe. $81.95, right. So would open up for discussion if councillors feel that they would like to contribute from the regional fund as well, or not. Councillor Sampson?
I would not be interested in supporting from the general fund. I wasn't party to the conversation about the St. Joseph's Parish just because I had recused myself from that conversation. But barring that, if you look at their cash balances and investment balances, they do have some cash there, some accessible money that they could use towards the project. So I wouldn't be inclined to support it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Sampson. So any other comments from councillors? All right, then I guess at this point I'd be seeking a motion to approve $1,000 for the Calvin Presbyterian Church grant application for the Type 1 infrastructure grants. and to be allocated fully from the District 5 fund.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Brent Sampson. Could I have a seconder, please?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Digdon. Any further discussion on that item? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, that motion is carried. Thank you. All right, so the next item on the agenda is, again, a piece of correspondence from the Hearts of Almadam. It is regarding the Hearts Ability Society, regarding the REITs fundraiser. So the letter goes on to request, I believe, that the municipality consider purchasing REITs, and they are very full and have a beautiful red bow. Is what I noted from the letter, which are my favorite kind of wreaths. But would be interested to hearing from council, or maybe even over to you, Troy, maybe to kind of set the stage as to whether or not this is maybe something we've done in the past.
It is, Madam Warden. It's been done in the past, not last year, but 2 years ago, I believe it was CFO, that it was done. It was last year as well. Yeah, so, and I believe it was 4 or 5 wreaths, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, it was only, and they were on the front door. Correct, correct.
Okay.
They didn't do the lampposts last year. They did the front doors last year, and they're looking to do the lampposts this year.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. That was definitely throwing me off because I didn't remember the lamppost piece, but that would make sense. Yeah, okay. So do we have a sense of how many wreaths that the request is? Like, because there's...
I thought the conversation was going to go to operations, so I didn't bring this up earlier, but I'm going to remove myself because this is a client of mine. Oh, okay. So if the decision will be made by council, I'll remove myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you, Councillor Sampson. Sure thing. So how many lampposts are there?
I believe there's 13 lampposts in every shed.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Chris. And do we do this, I guess I would be a little concerned, sorry, I would be just a little concerned because I believe, just going to ask the Deputy Warden to hang on 1 second, because I think we also have lampposts in Lewisdale under the charge of the county, right? Mm-hmm. So would we be looking at both areas? That's, I guess, a question for consideration, but over to you, Deputy Warden. Yeah, just press your button.
So that's a very good point, Madam Warden. There is lamppost in Lewisdale as well. I don't know how many there is, but going to your number, Chris, yeah, my mom's a very superstitious woman, so I know there's 13 lampposts. If she would have been the head of the engineering firm, she would have put 12 or 14, right? She would never. So that's how I know there's 13 there. But I think in the past we were buying some, or maybe 13 of them for a Colbo, and kids were decorating them and then putting them on the lamp, and they were beautiful. Like all the kids in the classrooms were decorating them with different teams and stuff like that, right? But it was very nice, yeah. So I don't know if that's something we want to entertain going back to, but I think that's been done in the past. Jason, do you remember that situation or?
Okay, thank you, Deputy Warden. Yeah, did you have comments to add?
Yeah, it's just the part of the fill in the blanks is that the deputy warden and myself had purchased them from the Colbo school, and that was the which were hung along the, and then 2 were purchased, I believe, through here.
Okay, great, thanks. So, I mean, this is a pretty low cost item in the scheme of 13 lampposts, but I guess I wonder how many are in Lewisdale. And I think if we're decorating some, we should decorate them all,
Yeah, the request at this time, right, though, is just Ayrshire. Doesn't mean that the folks in Lewisdale aren't going to send us a letter as well, but right now it is only the 13 in Ayrshire.
All right. Okay, so councillors, what would you like to do with this particular request?
Personally, I think we should count the light posts within the county of Richmond between Louisdale, Arishat, St. Peters, and if
You mean just out of our operations budget?
or our district funds, whatever's.
Right.
Because really, we're only looking at.
Yeah. So it hasn't come in as a grant application, so that'd be a whole process we'd have to get them to go through, and I'm a little concerned about the timing, because Christmas is coming. But and just to clarify, the lampposts in the village of St. Peters they're owned by the village commission, right? So I think they probably have plans for that already. But just generally then, could we just maybe refer this back to staff to make a decision on what's possible, I guess, in terms of our regular operational funds? Would folks be in favor of that? Okay. Yeah? Okay, I think we have agreement on that then, so we'll leave it there, and maybe if, could someone just maybe get Councillor Melanie Sampson back in the door? And I don't think we need a motion to that effect. I think we'll just leave that in your hands, Troy, if that's okay?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Great, thank you. The next item on the agenda is an MOU draft from Terry Smith with Destination Cape Breton. And this really is to just align the MOU with the new marketing levy bylaw that we have already passed. So councillors, if you've had a chance to review it, just wondering if you would be in favor of completing the alignment of the MOU with the existing bylaw. And if so, I'd just get a motion to recommend that we approve the MOU among the 5 Cape Breton Island municipalities and DCBA. Anyone like to make that motion?
I will make that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Sampson. Could I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. And any further discussion on that item? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That motion is carried. Okay, the next item on the agenda is correspondence for information purposes. And there were a few pieces. One was regarding the Municipal Housing Needs Report. So thank you, CAO, for sharing that with us. It's an interesting read for those who haven't had a chance. There were some corrections that needed to be made in the original one, a little bit of reference to other regions, but that has since been corrected. I do want to note they refused to make a correction on the service-based count project that forms part of the basis of the data collection and the data analysis in the report. That service-based count project was conducted in the Eastern Zone by the Affordable Housing Association, as noted, but also with the leadership of the Straight Richmond Housing Matters Coalition, and for some reason they weren't interested in making that correction, but definitely wanted to note it here because I know several of the members of that coalition put a lot of work into that service-based count, and I want to maybe take the opportunity to thank them again for that. So the housing report is available now, and I guess up to us to decide how we want to treat it. We can kind of leave it on the agenda. It is for information purposes. My feeling is we probably want to put it up on our website, share it publicly, but would kind of look for some direction from council on that.
That was certainly what my hope was when we discussed it at a recent meeting, and it was still embargoed at the time. My hope was that once we did receive it, that we would make it fully public.
Thank you, Councillor Sampson. Any further discussion on this?
It'd be fascinating to see going forward some of the updates on it, because I was just thinking it was kind of just unusual timing, I think, around COVID and everything else and some of the changes we've seen. Because as far as permitting goes, it's shot way up since 2021 and actually probably, skews a lot of these numbers. And that may be temporary as well, but it would be interesting to see the changes going forward as compared to what the predictions were in here.
Yeah, it's a great point. It would be nice if we had some consideration from the province that maybe this could be a baseline and that we we do this type of exercise a couple of years, if not every year, because I do think the landscape is changing really, really rapidly. But in the meantime, if folks are in agreement, perhaps we could publish this on our website and maybe do a little social media post to let members of the public know that it's there. I think there are some developers in the region who would be very interested to see it, so. Everyone's okay with that? Okay. So I don't think we need a motion to that effect. We've got some consensus here from council.
We'll take that direct.
Great. Thank you, Roy. Okay. No, my button went off again. All right, so if there's no further discussion, I'll move it on. Okay, so I seem to be having a microphone glitch. I'll just keep my hand on the button. Oh, sorry.
Anyway, I've been called worse than a glitch, but I've been called worse than a glitch. It's okay. But no, I agree that we should have it on our website for sure and share it. But I read this document and just want to share some numbers with the public this evening. I mean, so you're looking at a gap of 370. Yeah, so you're looking at a gap of like 370 units as of right now, right? Yeah. And they're saying by 2027, you're going to need 515 new units, right? So that's an alarming number. That's two alarming numbers, right? It's saying that public housing wise, we have 117 housing units. 26 of them are for families, and 91 of them are for seniors. That make up the 117. So going back to our discussion about West Richmond and developers, not sure how many people know about the new Municipal Capital Growth Fund that our Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, John Lohr, just announced. That's like a $32 million one-time investment for population growth and housing incentives. Right, so when you're talking developers in our region, yeah, we got to share this information with them. We got to share these municipal capital growth funds. We got to share our CCBF options, our SSGF options, and I think we got to get the ball rolling when it comes to getting on board with getting these units built. We're not going to see 515, but we got to get the ball rolling, in my opinion, right? So, you look at groups like the Antigonish Affordable Housing Society. They're a nonprofit. You look at Guysborough that just transferred over some land to the Housing Trust of Nova Scotia to build public housing for healthcare professionals, right? So, yeah, I think we gotta take these numbers into consideration, and we gotta move forward ASAP, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Warden. I totally agree. The numbers are alarming, and I think the sooner we get this information out to the public, the better, frankly, because I do think there's a role for private sector. There's also going to be a role for the nonprofit sector, and that's why I'm really glad that Council in the past has supported the go forward to develop a nonprofit housing association like the Antigonish Affordable Housing Association. We don't have one of those here. So this is what we need to get in place to make sure that those other segments of the market, affordable housing, second stage housing, et cetera, are available here in this region, right? So, yeah, great. Okay, thank you, and apologies if I don't see you. You can just wave. All right. So the next item on the agenda then is the letter to Minister Lohr regarding the Service Exchange Agreement, MOU, Bill 340. And this is just, again, provided for information purposes. It's the letter that we agreed that I would send forward to the minister, and wanted to make sure you all had a copy of it and that it was on the public record, that Richmond County does support Bill 340. There had been some debate about that following some news reporting that had occurred, but we got that all straightened out really quickly. And I think there's obviously more work that needs to be done for some of our neighbors, you know, in CBRM, but certainly for Richmond County looks to be the path forward. So that's just a copy of the letter for your information. Does anybody have any questions about that item? Okay, great. So the next item on the agenda is for unfinished business, and it is regarding the item we had for discussion on the deer population in Richmond County. And so I believe we've gotten a response back to the message that had been sent out on that, and it came from Elizabeth Walsh with the province of Nova Scotia. I believe she's with DNRR, and she has, you know, she's looking at potentially offering to set up a meeting with us as a council, or perhaps with staff, to better understand the concerns, because they do have, you know, NRR does sometimes take an advisory role in municipal or community deer management if requested. So, you know, obviously kind of talking about data collection there too. So I'm not sure, councillors, if you would want to take any action on this item, or if there's some next steps you'd like to recommend.
I would possibly just, if Miss Walsh is coming down, I would recommend she drives the West Arishat Loop. She has a better chance of not striking a deer as to if she drives the Discouche Rocky Bay, because anytime at this time at night, she will see anywhere between 6 to 20 driving in that area. So,
For sure. Thanks, Councillor Digdon. There definitely seems to be an uptick in the population. At this stage, I'm wondering if councillors would like to perhaps refer this back to staff to see if you could do an outreach to Ms. Walsh and see if she might be interested in having a deeper conversation on it. Or if there are members of council who would like to participate in that conversation, I'm sure that'd be okay. CAO, maybe over to you on that.
Madam Chair, there was a mention to coordinate with the MLA's office as well, so I think we'll take them up on that opportunity and see if there's a way to do something regionally with some of the other counties as well, and see what we can come up with here and help them get the information they need on the pellet program as well, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Thanks, CAO. It's all right. Okay, so councillors, are you okay with that, to just continue coordinating through staff? We've already got a motion in place for that, so I think we're okay. Okay, great. If there's no other discussion on that item, I'll move us on to the review of checks issued for October 2023. Are there any questions on the review of checks? Okay, hearing none, I'll move us on to the review of action items. Any questions on the action items?
Apologies on the list in the PDF. Some of the cells collapsed and made it a little difficult for you to read. I do have the Excel file here in case you guys have any questions on some of the ones that are closed off in the PDF, but we'll watch for that going forward.
Now that was a glitch, right? That was a real glitch. Okay, no, that's great. Thank you, Troy. And yeah, I do find the Excel sheet really helpful because you can sort it really easily. So if we could see that on the regular, that would be great. Okay, so are there any other questions on the action items? All right. So items added to the agenda. I don't believe we had any. So we'll open now for a 15-minute question period. And the number to call for question period, again, for folks watching at home, is 902-226-9885. This question period is not restricted to items on the agenda. It's pretty well wide open for folks. So, so again, that's 902-226-9885. Or if there are members of the gallery who would like to ask questions. Just asking, I mean. All right, we'll just give it a minute in case we have some folks wanting to call in from home. There is a slight delay, so.
it's late tonight to have to drive back to St. Effects.
Okay. All right, well, it's sounding like quiet from the phone line, so we'll wrap up the question period for this evening. And certainly if members of the public have questions about this evening's discussions or municipal matters, they can reach out to us at any time as well. And I'll ask now for a motion to move us in camera for contract.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, thanks, folks. So we are back in public session, and I believe there's no further business on the agenda, so we will adjourn the meeting. So thanks, everyone, and thanks for those watching at home.